We're back for part 2 of our Tuesday night live chat. Hopefully you guys were able to make the jump over to see us here. Myself, John Young, and the one and only Brian Red tonight.
Hello.
Yeah, I see you guys are coming into the room. Yay! Yay! This part of our show on Tuesday night is the question and answer time. We have got questions that you guys have sent over, and I've got some I have from people. I have no idea who you are. And then there's always the underwear question that's just out there for Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy Spin's underwear question, which I answered, by the way.
Yes, it was. He answered it last week, and we used some graphics, and we had a demonstration. It was fabulous. I don't know where you were, Jimmy. I'm just saying.
I'm just going to ask everybody who's watching this video, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it in syndication, as they say, like, comment, and share, please. That would be really nice.
Yeah. Thank you guys for. We got some likes already on the shows. We definitely appreciate that. Jimmy posted on there. They found the difference between the NB and the NB2 after our little show, or the little teaser we did with that last Wednesday. We found out where the information was, and there was supposed to be an email that got here before the controller. I just spent an hour with the Newmark people last Friday, and we've got a full product introduction video coming tomorrow at noon on our channel. So at 8 in the morning, you guys are going to get to see Chris Roman. He's going to do a little teaser for us, and then at noon, the NV2 from Newmark. Chris is going to go through and show you all the features on that, and it's got some really cool bells and whistles. So I just wanted to put that out there for Jimmy.
Right on.
Okay, we've got our questions.
All right.
If you guys have got questions that you'd like to ask, we can answer. We can do some of them in the chat room tonight on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, it's just not there. You're going to have to come out to YouTube and find us.
Yes.
If you go on our Facebook page, the live stream is there somewhere, and then if you go up on the page, that'll say, "Oh, I just tweeted that we're doing a live stream." You'll find the link. It's there. So find it. Just go. Questions. Yeah. Gosh, we got 18 people ready to ask questions. It's going to be awesome.
I'm ready.
Jimmy can't ask questions. It'll be like, Okay.
Blacklist.
We're gonna blacklist him. That's what we do, man. We just take it out. Okay, we've got some easy ones and a couple of interesting ones. We're going to start off with one that actually someone asked, and then I saw that they had posted it up on one of the chat boards. They're asking about earplugs. Do you wear earplugs, or do you recommend wearing earplugs at your events?
That's a good idea. You can get earplugs where you can hear fine, but the bad stuff is filtered out. That is very possible. People do it. I know Christian Behe over at Pioneer does it. Pioneer DJ, Tall Music in Vancouver. But what I do, just to share it with you, it's kind of what I'm doing right now. Headphones, sound canceling headphones. I'm wearing headphones over both ears, like this. Holy crap, this is loud with both ears on. But what it does is, it's twofold. I'm wearing headphones all the time at a gig. My headphones usually have pretty heavy padding on it. I have these are Vimotas. I also have a pair of Allen & Heath that are really nice. And I always pick a headphone that has, that cancels sound out pretty good.
Yeah.
So it filters out all the bad stuff. And people think that I'm just on it all night with the music, where I'm actually most of the time just kind of protecting my ears. That's what I do. So that to me is the compromise. Not proactive enough to go out and get earplugs or find the right ones or whatever. This is a good option. This helps. And by the way, my hearing is spectacular. And all the rock star stuff I've done, not rock star stuff I've personally done, but going to rock concerts and clubs, week after week and all that stuff. Musician, DJ, I hear very well. So I attribute some of that to this and EQing things out smart.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely helps. I know there have been some nights I needed to wear that. I was just wondering if I had. Just hang on a second. I think they might be right here, just out of my reach. I have some custom ones that I had made, and they cost, I believe, about $200 or so. It was and you put the gunk in your ear, and then it hardens up, and then you pop it out. But our good friend Carl, when he was with Vimoda, the Vimoda faders, they were like $20. I think. I think when Jonathan was at the DJ conventions, these are about $20 a piece. Yeah. And they do, as you were saying, they filter out some of the nasty stuff. They help.
Yeah.
And yet when I'm doing a teen dance, I can hear the boys or mature young ladies. If I've got a 7th or 8th grade girl, I can't hear her because first off, she's super high pitched. This filters out the high pitched and then in her soft speaking.
Write it down.
Yeah, exactly. I had to do that at a junior high event I did this winter. It's like, this is so bad. I feel bad. So yeah, if you guys are interested in getting earplugs, I would definitely check it out. If you're younger, do it now. And when you're mowing lawn or doing anything that you're not, anytime you're in a loud noise, you need to take care of those ears. So I wish I would have been wearing the earplugs mowing lawn, because then I'd be closer to what you are, Brian. I grew up driving tractors, and I ran a lawn mowing business with no ear protection for years. And that's what.
It's rough. I see the guys out there who are working, and they have the big phones on.
Yeah.
The big ear protection phones on. To this day, the road crews and things, I see that. And my father, he didn't start doing it until later in life. He was a machinist his whole life. I got to scream at him now. He's 83. He can't hear anything. And he was a truck driver. He drove with the window down. In America, we sit on the left side of the vehicle, and with the window down, all that wind.
Yep.
Then, in a I guess a truck in the 1950s, you got a stack right behind your ear too.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's right.
At the dinner table, I always sit to my father's right, because then I can kind of talk to him.
Yeah.
He can kind of hear me. But on the left, it's gone. It has been forever. But protect those ears is so important.
Yeah, for sure.
This worked well for me. This has worked very well for me. I don't have any kind of just earplugs. I just use these, and I haven't had a problem.
DJ Bear, I'm guessing from Ohio, asked about monitor earpieces. I don't know if you've gotten to use those at all, Brian, but a couple of friends have those, and I believe you said Christian. I think that's what he has, is the in-ear monitor, and they're designed is they can take so much of that ambient room noise out. Now they're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to hear conversation as well. I mean, I could put these in. Obviously, I could put these in and put headphones over it, and I can actually run them at a regular volume, and I don't have a problem. With the in-ear monitors, it doesn't work quite that way, but the in-ear monitors cut everything out from the outside, so they don't have to be as loud, which is the value.
I think when we're training ourselves to DJ early on, some of the habits that we develop can affect us. One thing that I've never done, and if it's ever offered to me, I refuse it outright, or if it's there, I kill it, is a booth monitor. That can hurt. That to me is the worst thing you can do. Mm-hmm. As a DJ, I've learned to monitor with my phones.
Yeah.
I mean, you have those settings on your mixer. You can listen to house,
Oh,
you can
for
listen
sure.
to whatever house is, front of house or whatever, main, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
But no, I don't do that. The monitor thing is just something louder to hurt you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't like it. Some people swear by it. They got to have it. I won't use it. I won't use the monitor.
At Expo.
Like and I don't have to crank my headphones either. A good headphone with good sound canceling, you don't have to crank it. That helps too. So just a couple of afterthoughts on that one.
Yeah. Dancing Tuna has to head out tonight, so thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, let's jump to the next one. This one's actually a question that was brought up earlier, and then someone else asked a variation of it. The particular, they're talking about sound processing, DBX processors, and with our modern controllers. In this particular case, they're referring to the Denon MC4000. Mm-hmm. The other was referring to a Pioneer SX, I believe. But modern controllers with our powered speakers. Do we have to, if we're using a K series from QSC, or if we're using, the newer EVs or any of these nicer speakers, do we need to worry about DBX and the processors, the digital processors?
I know a lot of people swear by them, but here's my problem, my personal problem with that. Okay. First thing, if you've got good equipment, if you have a solid audio chain, and I'm talking about front to back. I'm talking about you have great audio files, you've got a great sound card, you've got a great mixer, you've got great speakers. I don't think you need to process anything. Mm-hmm. Everything that you need to do really can be handled by your 3-band EQ on your mixer, or just speaker placement in general. I mean, if you're facing a brick wall, it's going to come right back at you. There's nothing to do about that. But if you can tilt your speakers down a bit, that high is going to hit the floor and it's not going to bounce around. That's something you need DBX for. That's something that you can physically do and change to make the sound better. But again, people still swear by the DBX, the drive racks, I believe is what he's talking about.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Right.
Or a go rack. Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah. Here's the drive rack thing. This is my understanding. It's self-tuning. You can just set like a PZM mic somewhere in the room and play, and it tunes to the room. And that's pretty cool. The only problem with that is, okay, first of all, when are you going to tune it? Are you going to tune it before the gig?
Yep. I know where you're headed with this, yeah.
Before the gig, when the room is full of people, the acoustics of the room change, so it doesn't help you. You would have to do it while
they're there
in the room. Yeah, that's the only way.
Can you people please stand in the spots where you'll be dancing later and don't make any noise? We're setting up.
Oh no, go ahead and make noise. We're just going to tune it. Yeah,
we're going to tune.
So I don't know. I don't see the benefit of that.
Yeah,
it's a bit like DMX for DJs. I don't see the benefit of that either. And a lot of people really don't like it when I say that. I don't. I see it beneficial for a band who knows they're going to play this song, this song, this song, and this song, and they can create a light show for those songs. And it's amazing. But if you're a DJ and you're improvising your sets and you're playing for 6 hours, you're not going to build a custom light show for every single song you do. So I don't see the benefit of going to the trouble, especially since the audience isn't going to, and they're not going to notice.
Not so much.
Like just do sound active. And if it's DMX, it's very simple DMX control: on, off, standby, fast, slow. That is fine. But just in a random, do whatever you got to do. Sorry about that. Big
D's DJ Service talked about he likes the feedback killer, which is in a lot of those processors. I think that would be probably the first reason to have one from my perspective. The second one would be for when you do a time delay. There was a really cool web page that was kind of shared around this past week, where it was showing a room where you have this, you've got your speakers, and then you have halfway down the room, and then you have speakers on the other end of the room, and trying to get the time delay and all these different things set up. So it's hitting the people and showing the math to this. It was a Ben Stowe, something he would just get excited about. But
he probably would.
He'd be like, woohoo!
Maximum Ben. Yeah, just whatever.
That's like a date night read for him. Hey, honey, I've got this.
Definitely. Now we're going to go see Star Wars.
Yeah, we're going to look at some time delay on the speakers. But those are definitely some cool things that they could be used. Do you need it? I think the overall thing, I would say no. You don't need it. But if you want to do some,
take that same amount of money and invest in better speakers and better processing and better files. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. That's going
to be more valuable than because any kind of processing that you do, really, as far as I'm concerned, is almost like putting a Band-Aid on a tumor most of the time. For our purposes, folks. Yeah. Please understand. Don't. Well, Brian Red said no. For what we do, wedding receptions, school dances, 2 speakers usually, front of house stuff. It's a Band-Aid on a tumor. If you're getting feedback, why? Why are you getting feedback? To add a processor to take care of it is a Band-Aid on a tumor. You have things set up weird. Your microphone placement is goofy, or your speaker placement is goofy. You can change that so you don't have that problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be as simple as you're getting that high-pitched squeal, and this is an interesting thing. You're getting a high-pitched squeal, and Ben's the first thing he told me is check your subwoofer. Is your subwoofer turned up too high? And that was exactly the problem for that room. When you listen to it in front, is that the bass was overriding everything else, and you took that down.
Where's your mic EQ and mic volume?
And then, it was just because it was pushing that bass through, and then how he was explained the whole thing, and then it would force it trying to get more highs to get that bass. It was weird, but
let me tell you what I think is a piece of processing gear for us. After I cough. It's been awful, just dry and dusty around here. The mic compressor is cool. I'm using one now.
Yeah.
My voice sounds so bassy. And John's doesn't, because I'm using a mic compressor.
Yeah.
I kind of got that Howard Stern thing going right now.
Well, it's because you know how to set it. I've got a digital version of it, and I've gone and I played with it, and it's I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know if I know how to set it. I don't know if it sounds cool, but I was going for that Howard Stern.
Yeah, and it did sound good. You sounded. If you would have said you did, if you would have just left it alone, I would have been impressed that you knew exactly what you were doing. But I'm gonna have to call Jimmy Spin and have him walk me through all these different little things, because it's
you see what's cool is I can talk in a real quiet voice. and you can still hear me fine. So why I think this is cool is because we're not screaming on the microphones anymore.
For sure.
I don't have a mic processor, a good mic compressor on my mobile system, but it's on my list of things to do, just to add this. Because can you imagine if you're a mobile DJ who's on the microphone a lot? Can you imagine what it would be like if you didn't have to scream in the thing?
Mm-hmm.
If you could just talk in a normal voice, can you imagine?
That would be awesome.
Presentation. So I think that I can't believe that they're not pushing this for mobile DJs. But I don't think that the industry, with the exception of people probably, definitely ADJ understands what the DJs need. That whole company, there's none of them but DJs.
Yeah.
The president of that company is a DJ. So they get it. The founders were DJs. But there are companies out there where, we do band stuff, but we've done things for DJs. So it's a little different. But this compressor, if somebody came up with an easy compressor for DJs to use, real simple, and marketed it to DJs, I think they could do well. And it would really help the DJ community. It would help with, can you imagine that the bridesmaid who has the squeaky little voice, can you imagine compressing her?
Mm-hmm.
Turn the mic up. No, I'll just compress it. And all of a sudden, this little girl's gonna sound like, she went to broadcasting school.
Yeah,
it's cool stuff. So that's what I would process, and that's what I am processing right now. But I wouldn't process my whole audio signal. I think,
yeah,
I think there are better ways to compensate for shortcomings and feedback and all that other stuff. So anyway, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. We're getting more questions that are being popped up, and some of it are kind of along the lines of what we were talking about here.
Yeah.
Actually, let's continue on that. One of the questions just came in about compression, when it should and shouldn't be used. And you were talking microphones, and you're talking not on music,
right, on your voice.
But yet, now let's look at a karaoke type event. Would you use it on the karaoke microphone?
Karaoke, I love it.
Karaoke,
yeah. You're definitely from like upper Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm a Midwest boy. So.
Sure.
So
yeah,
anyway,
that's the perfect time to use mic processing for the vocals of the people singing. In fact, what little karaoke I've done, people go, you're going to process you're going to give me some reverb on that. I'm like, what? Oh, okay. You work with a real jack at KJ at one time. I'm just filling in here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the perfect time to use it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
I've used it on microphones, because I do have one that I have taken with when I'm doing like a youth rally where you're going to have people up on stage and they're going to be speaking, and I set it up so that it would control some of the feedback issues, but it was that compressor, because there's always that one, you get a room full of teenagers, and there's that one guy who's like excited and he's going to yell himself, and it's like, dude.
The cool thing about the compressor is it's almost like a limiter too, because it keeps, you can set it where it keeps the voice even, whether you're whispering or you're screaming. It's pretty even. It's not that you're getting a whole lot of variation in the dB.
Yeah,
I don't know. So cool stuff. Cool stuff. Yeah. I like it. I want to know more about it. I hope I have this one set okay. I hope it sounds okay. I haven't changed the settings since we started doing these broadcasts in like February. It's pretty much the same, but yeah, I wasn't liking kind of what I was sounding like on the microphone for some of the broadcasts I was doing. So I picked up like a year ago. Mm-hmm. Like I was using, actually took a crap. I'm just using a regular. Well, I'm using my Sennheiser, but I could get a better microphone and sound more like Stern or something if I wanted.
Okay, let's keep going here. We've got a lot of questions here.
Let's answer them.
Crappy photo booths. Photographers are bringing. They're out there selling photo booths, and I know you have a photo booth. They're selling photo booths that are basically a backdrop and a camera.
Yeah.
How do you convey, when you're talking to a bride about a photo booth? Is there a way that you can get that information to her to let her know that you have a real photo booth compared to what her photographer might have?
The thing that we do, or I do, I say we, but it's me. What I do is every time whether it be a DJ thing or it's photo booth or anything, even if it's selling my house, if I were to do that, it's all about the presentation. So if you can make your photo booth look cooler than the other photo booth, I think that helps. And if you have pictures to show them, hey, just so you know, this is what my photo booth looks like. I'm using a Colorado Sound and Light photo booth system. It's a portal. It's a printer in a box. and it's a rectangular box with a camera and a monitor in it and a laptop. It doesn't look like much. Look at this thing. If you stick it on a tripod like it's built to do, it doesn't look like anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if I put it on 6-foot banquet tables, I scrim those tables, I backlight those tables with wash bars, and I set my props up cool, and I show that I'm cooler than a booth. I'm more like a portable photo studio because I can do these group shots now.
Right.
And I can set up a green screen, not just a little thing. I can do this 10 by 12 green screen back there, and it's in the presentation. I believe that if you can show them that what you're doing is going to draw people's attention, you're going to be able to do those group shots. And if you offer green screen, that you know what you're doing with it, there's no goofy pixelation in it. You know how to set the camera. You know how to. That's when you're going to sell your photo booth, and that's why we still get a premium for my little photo booth. We do very well with it.
Nice. Very
it doesn't
good.
go up $300. You don't do it like that.
Very cool. Very cool. Continuing on. Next question is, should I play songs off my phone? Is the quality of the audio on my phone good enough?
No. Well, let me clarify.
I was going to go kill a little bit more. No. Okay, next question.
No. Yeah, next. I think, I know there are DJs out there. We're in a pinch. We get a request. We don't have the tune. Oh, well, I'll just pull the YouTube video. I'll stick an 1/8-inch plug into my headphone jack and play it through the speakers. Yeah, it's not going to sound as good. Absolutely not. If you Bluetooth your phone to a mixer, I don't think, and you are playing a good quality file, why is it going to sound any different than playing a good quality file off anything else? As long as, it's Bluetooth up right and you have a good sound card, it can make a difference. But yeah, if you're just playing off of your phone, playing YouTube videos off of your phone for audio, it's just not going to sound very good.
No, for sure not. Yeah, especially you've got the YouTube that isn't, they really don't care about the audio algorithms that much. And then, this is the newest iPhone, and it has a better digital audio converter in here than some. Mm-hmm. But most of them, they don't put the great sound quality. You can get a little bit better out of the Bluetooth, as you were talking about. Mm-hmm. But it's all in. If you really want to get good quality audio out of your phone, you need to get the connection that goes in, the lightning connection for this one, or whatever the connection is, and coming out of it, and then you're using your device as the sound card.
Well, just like anything else, you don't want to go from a digital thing to an analog thing back to a digital thing. You lose quality that way.
You would. Yep, you would. And especially when, again, the sound cards in the phones are so crappy.
They are. They really are. So it's best if you can make it happen all digitally and your files are clean in your phone. I don't see why you couldn't play them up.
Exactly. Yep.
If you're playing YouTube videos off your phone, it's a little different.
Then you should be slapped in the head, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, I get it. I'm not going to be that guy. And people say it's illegal. I don't think that it is because it's a private performance. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, technically, I could go to a party and I could play the movie Star Wars for everybody, and it wouldn't be illegal. I can do that. There's nothing that says I can't. It's a private party. I mean, if it was a public performance, that would be different.
Yep.
But a private performance, there's nothing that I'm aware of that says I can't do that. So, but is it poor form? Yeah, it's very poor form. Yeah. I wouldn't do it. So.
Okay, let's go to our next one. DJ headphones. There's such a huge range in prices. They were talking about that, and they were wondering why they range in price so much when their headphones there isn't any real new earth-shattering technology. Let
me tell you a secret about headphones.
I was hoping you would know this particular part of it. Go ahead.
Let me tell you, and I'm talking I'm an industry insider on this one, so I know I've heard this. I've talked to people. I know this is true. Okay, yep. Beats by Dre. If you go out and you buy like a Beats by Dre headphone, the packaging costs more than the headphone.
Yep.
It's in the marketing. Dr. Dre has an endorsement deal. He's got to get paid. The people importing him have to get paid. The people advertising him have to get paid. All the promotion has to get paid. That's where the money is. I'm not saying they're bad phones. I'm just saying that's what you're paying for.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I have these. I think these are $250 cans. I think they are. The V-Models. Maybe remember what model they are. I have Allen and Heath that I got a really good deal on for like $140 or something. Maybe it was $100. I don't know. It was at Expo. They had a really good deal on at Expo, and I bought them like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. They're good phones. I like them because they're comfortable. But do they really sound much better than the American Audio ones that you can pick up for $45, $30, $40, $45?
Yep.
Not that much.
Yep.
The design, I think, is nicer, but they don't really sound that much different. I've used American Audio, just cheap American Audio headphones, under $50 at a gig, and I haven't been able to mix any better or worse than I could, with really expensive headphones.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Is that there's not a ton of difference. There is. If you're an audiophile, I find that I like my more expensive ones. When it comes to like watching movies,
studio monitor headphones are different. Like for production, that's a different animal.
Yeah,
but you don't DJ with those.
Yeah,
that's not what they're made for. They're made for like studio. Studio headphones are different than DJ headphones. Very different. Just to be clear.
Big D's spent an hour at the local DJ shop trying on and listening to different headphones before he finally spent $60 on his.
Yeah.
Did you, D's, did you go and try and find out you like your $60 ones better than some of the more expensive ones?
I think that's what he's saying.
I'm wondering. I want to
tried
make sure.
A bunch of them.
Yeah, I want to.
He found that those worked best for him, or maybe he found that
the best in the price range. That's what I'm wanting to see.
Price range,
yeah. So that's why I would like clarify a little bit. If the 60 outperformed some of the higher ones in his opinion, or what that was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Buttery's like he bought some from Walmart from $40. Says I think the ones that I have in my bag are some Sony ones that I bought off a refurb, like a Newegg refurb thing. And the reason they are in there is because they can fold completely flat.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have them in case I forget to throw this in my bag. And because it's over here on my desk means I probably didn't take it to my last gig.
Yeah.
And I had to use my Sonys.
Right.
You mentioned
my Allen and Heaths live in my computer bag.
Yeah.
I don't take them out. These I use for the house. I don't gig with these. If I'm mixing at the desk, even if I'm on the phone, this has a little microphone on. I was using it when I was talking to customer service of the cable company today for 2 hours. I had these phones on. I use them for the broadcast. I could use them for a gig, but I don't. I use them when I travel, just listening to tunes on the airplane. But yeah, those Allen and Heaths, they live in my bag, and they're solid. I haven't had them for years. It's a good investment. But in reality, what did it really cost Allen and Heath to make those headphones? The manufacturing cost on them, the packaging costs more than my headphones did. So it's all.
Okay, the next question we have. We kind of talked a little bit about some DIY things, and this is kind of a takeoff from that. Speaker covers. Can you make those at home and save money? They look like basically padded toaster covers. So there's your visual image, a padded toaster cover for your speaker.
I don't know what your time's worth, but if I were someone who owned a sewing machine, hey, fine, let's do this. I don't. It's not what I do. Yeah. It depends on what your skill level is. It depends on how much your time's worth per hour. And if you have a better idea than you feel like the speaker cover company has, build it if you think your idea is better than theirs. But for me, sometimes I just throw money at stuff. It's like, okay, it would take me this long to do it. I'd have to research it. I'd have to have this tool and that tool. I'd have to design it. I have to get it just right. I can't make a mistake. It's got to wear. I'd rather just spend the money on some things.
Yeah.
Other things, no, it's ridiculous. I can get a bolt and a nut and I can MacGyver something and it's cooler than what I could buy. But something like that, maybe I want to go ahead and just spend the money on it.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, that's pretty much how I've looked at it. Initially I had a few things made for us. I went up to the local seamstress and because they could be $10 cheaper or something like that. But as you get into the real bags that are designed by the speaker companies, first off, they fit a little bit nicer. They look better, and they've got like little pockets and little things to hold cords, and it just kind of So
plus, you had to drive to the seamstress. You had to show her what you wanted.
Yeah,
it's time. I mean, what is your time worth, and what is your
huge.
skill level? I think that's kind of where you have to weigh that all out. If something costs $5,000 and you can make it for $50,000, this is worth your while.
For sure. Yeah, but we're talking.
If something costs you $100 and you can make it yourself for $80, I don't know. Geez, I would pay somebody $20 to make me something. Just might as well buy it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's see. Let's jump on another question that just came up in the chat board a little bit ago. Thoughts? The main difference between sound for a wedding and sound for a prom if you have the same size crowd in the same room. So let's say we have a banquet room. One weekend we're doing a prom. The next weekend we're doing a wedding. What kind of changes would you make in the sound system between those two events?
Very little. I don't think I would at all. I mean, if I have a system designed for 500, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it for both gigs. If both gigs have 500 people, I don't think I'd make any changes.
I would agree with you, because most of the time, like, you and I are going to look and figure out a solution. We want to have our sound system solution that's going to be flexible enough to handle both.
Right.
If a person's looking at, okay, what kind of variation could you have? Well, technically for the wedding, you can maybe do 2 tops and a single sub, because you're not going to probably play as loud as you would for the prom.
Right.
The prom, you're going to probably want to have 2 18-inch subs with your 15-inch two-way. Maybe with the wedding, you could do a 12-inch two-way on top instead of a 15. There's little.
Well, the 12-inch two-way on the top, I think there are misconceptions on that. I think, the 15 is going to be more aggressive than the 12. I think there are big misconceptions on that for that particular application. I think you're always better off with the 12 on top. Just because people much smarter than me, and I've talked about this before, have told me that the 12-inch speaker, just because of physics or whatever, produces a punchier mid-bass than a 15.
Yep.
Once you get into a 15 and above, that's great sub bass. The bigger the speaker, the better the sub bass. 18 is better than 15. 21 is better than an 18. That's just what it is. But when it comes to that punchy mid bass, 12 is king. Yeah. So if you need more mid bass, add more 12s. You're going to get better sound.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd throw that in there while we're talking about that. I think you're always best with the 12.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the 12.
Yeah.
Just for that reason. I think it just, even when we're testing out here and we're testing the 12 against the 15s, is that there's just a little bit in that vocal range and that lower vocal range. There just seems to be a little bit more body.
It's mid. It's mid bass. Yeah, it's mid and mid bass is produced better with a 12. It's tighter. It gets a little muddier when you get into a 15. You can do it, but it just gets a little muddy.
Let's see. I want to take that one in a bit here. Let's take a pause quick here. We're going to run through our sponsors, and we'll be right back here, gang.
Okay.
Top Hits USA from RPM. Our name says it all. Get the latest hits while they're the hottest. With Top Hits USA, you'll have the track for sure. Visit tophitsusa.com or call 800-521-253.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
And of course, those are our sponsors for summer of 2016. Make sure you show them some love, gang. We really appreciate them for helping support what we're doing here. I got a question for you guys and Brian, and we're going to start with Brian, and I'd like you guys to put this in a chat room. So I'm going to ask a question. You guys can share what you guys do with this one, and then we'll see what Brian does. The question is it tacky to be counting when a couple comes up to pay you the balance of your show the night of with cash? Is it tacky to stand there right in front of them and go 1, 2, 3, or do you take it and count it to the side? How do you guys handle getting a wad of cash handed to you at an event?
That's a good question. I've done both, depending on who's giving the money. And that's just the call. That's nothing really against them, because sometimes people say, "Hey, count it."
Yep.
Or but sometimes I'll shake their hand and then I'll shove it in my pocket if it's cash. And I won't say a word. Most of the time, it's handed to me in an envelope, which is kind of weird because now I can't see what the balance is. So
yes.
I have to open the envelope to look and see. Well, did they write it for the right amount? So if I get a check, I think I typically take a look at it and make sure that that's the amount of money that they gave me. I've never had a problem with the cash I've shoved in my pocket. Knock on studio desk.
Yeah, we've got a couple of people saying that they're tacky. They do think it is tacky.
Yeah.
I think the envelope is the most uncomfortable one because you get this envelope, okay, and it says, for the DJ.
Right.
And you're like, okay, so now how do I handle this?
Yeah, exactly. And really, the thing is that if they're paying you in cash, and they've shortchanged you, how are you going to come back and say, hey, you didn't give me enough cash?
That's
They did. And then, so you could, as tacky as it is, you could get screwed on this. So if it's cash, I mean, every business I've ever been in, besides the DJ business, you always count that money out in front of people.
Yep. I would agree, and that's why it's like, you know, our gut instinct is, oh, that's tacky, as somebody mentioned here.
The only difference is if the balance was 850 and they gave you $1,000, was that a mistake, or did they tip me $1,000? I'm assuming they tipped me 150. I'm assuming they tipped me 150 and rounded it up.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they didn't, and if I count in front of them, oh yeah, that's 150 too much, and I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's very hard to handle. So,
and as somebody mentioned, it shows that you don't trust them if you were going to count it in front. I have had more, thankfully, times where people say, you count it to make sure it's all there.
I've had that.
And I love that. It's like, yay, but there's that times where they hand that, and it's like, oh, do I count it and do I not? And then I know Lori and I have had the conversation about that, and she's like, but what happens if you turn around and you count it and it's $20, $30, $40, $60 short?
Whatever.
And they're like, oh, but we had it in there.
But we gave you the whole thing. We counted it twice.
Yeah, they counted it at the bank.
Then you look like a jerk because it looks like you took, $60 and shoved it in your other pocket, and you're trying to hustle them for more dough. So there's got to be a degree of trust there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. When we had staff and the young ladies would go out and they would get paid cash, we made it just a mandatory rule, and they could blame me that whenever somebody handed you cash, that their job was to, no matter what, even if it was just a tip, it was to count that in front of whoever handed it to you, and then you could count it and say, okay, great, thank you very much. Mm-hmm. But that way they could, if somebody was like, if they felt weird about it, they could say, John said that we need to do this just so that there isn't any weird things that...
right. Let's make sure that you didn't give me too much. Whatever.
Yeah, I want to make sure that, and everything. And it worked well for them. I know a couple of the gals use that an awful lot. That was just... It's a tough one, gang. I don't think there's a great... And it's probably a case-by-case situation. And
I did a video and an article this month for Disc Jockey News. Well, I did the video. Disc Jockey News can have it if they want it. It's posted. But I did an article that was very similar to the video. It was about outdoor gigs, and it was about how people don't really care about, you or your stuff. They don't. I mean, so if you tell somebody, hey, for my equipment's well-being, I need to have shelter.
Yep.
They might say, yeah, whatever. And then you get there, and it's like, hey, it's not going to rain. And then it does, and you got a problem. I think the best way to get people to do things they're supposed to do, or to make people comfortable, is to somehow convey, no matter what it is in business, somehow convey to them that this is in their best interest that you do it. So if it's about you, hey, I want to make sure you're paying enough, then it's a little crappy. But if you make it about them and their best interest, hey, make sure you didn't give me too much or whatever. Let's just count this out.
Yeah.
Then it's about them. And I think that's a get out of jail free card on a lot of things. You can still do your business the way you're supposed to do. And really, it is in their best interest. This is not something that you're lying about. Mm-hmm. This isn't being underhanded or shifty. This is just a really good diplomatic way to do it, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I like that.
Anything you do, make it sound like it's best for them. And then they'll typically do it if it's in their best interest. Explain it in that manner. Figure out whatever verbiage or whatever you have to make that happen, and do that, and I think you're safe on damn near anything you do.
Pretty much, that would cover. It covers a lot of
anything in life you do, make it sound like it's good for someone else. Make it sound like it's in the cop's best interest that you don't get a speeding ticket, and then the cop won't give you a speeding ticket. Yeah. It's just how
all that extra paperwork you're going to do, and then, you have to go sit in
my
traffic court.
My license, my job, depends on me having a driver's license. If I'm unemployed, then I'm going to be a criminal, and then you got to chase me. I'm going to rob people's houses. So let's not do that. Let's keep me employed. Your best interest that I stay employed. That's ridiculous and it's stupid, but we actually did that in the car business. We got pulled over by a cop. We said, what? My job, my license. If I don't have my license, I don't have a job. And they typically, I was in my Porsche doing a $110 and a 55.90. Yeah. So it happens. You can actually do this. That's an extreme. and I shouldn't have been doing that. But if
Probably
you
not.
legitimately need something, this is the best way to do it. Make it sound like it's in the cop's best interest, or not the cop, the client's best interest to do this for you, and whatever it is, or provide you with this, or do this for you, or handle this part of whatever they're supposed to handle. They'll handle it if it's in their best interest. They'll oh yeah, that's good for me. I'm going to do it.
Let's see. I've got 4 more
Sorry about
questions.
beating that in the ground.
Yeah, I'm going to keep us moving here. I've got 4 more questions, and a couple of them are going to take some time. So I'm going to take one that maybe won't take too much time, and then we'll see where this goes. The question today was, how much time should a person spend on social media?
You're asking me that question?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's coming to you and I. I mean, we live here, but the rest of the world who have a life and.
Yeah. I probably just enough time to address what you need to address, and if you're promoting your business via social media, enough time to do that. I think it's good to look and see what other people are doing sometimes. Not that you care, like, oh, is he doing better than me? That's not what I'm talking about. Just seeing what's effective for other people. I think that's a good thing to do, and for that, it does take time. It takes some research, and fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, this does involve messing around with your computer and being on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
And your wife's going to say you're screwing off, and you're going to say, yeah, shut up. I'm working.
I'm working. Go make me a sandwich, woman.
Yeah, put me a coffee, woman. I got shit to do.
Yeah, and then after I woke up.
I don't. I mean, what I don't want anyone to do is get wrapped up in drama on social media. That's not productive.
I think that's a great point, and that's exactly the way I want to go with that. Also, is that if you're there for business and you're there, I mean, you and I we do business on social media. Our lives are social media, but to get wrapped up in the drama and to be typing up a reply that's 45 pages long and then delete it and then type up another one for the. Then that's when the issues come. And this past week, actually, some of our friends that we see at DJ Expo and different places are basically saying, hey, you know what? I'm bailing on Facebook for a while. I've had enough of this. I'm going to, I
saw
need to
that. Yeah.
And it's crazy that's the way it is. But so
some people are very passionate and
very much so.
I can't, I'm not deducting points for that, but they're just very passionate and they're going to take things and be a little different than I'm going to take things. I got pretty thick skin. So things don't bother me. I mean, there's a guy in the room right now who has some strong political opinions that I do not agree with at all. And I love this man. And I see his posts and I know the guy. So I'm like laughing. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I love you. But this is stupid. I don't even say it. He knows I think it's stupid. And I love him and he loves me and it's all good. So it's all about playing well with others and having a little bit of understanding and not getting too wrapped up. And I mean, I'm not going to go on this guy's posts and start talking smack. Why? That's just him. And he has every right to feel that way. If I don't like it, I don't have to like it, but I don't have to say anything about it or invest time in saying anything about it or even debate it with him. Why? He is who he is. I'm not going to change him. So productive time on social media is good. Is all I guess I'm trying to say.
Yep. But I think it's a balanced time frame. Definitely balancing. Okay. Our next question.
Yes.
Another DJ company needs you to fill in and they want you to come in and work under their banner. How do you handle working for that company that way? I mean, is that something that somebody comes up and asks for a card? How do you handle these different situations? The venue likes what you do. There's all little variables that can happen when you're working under somebody. Can you give some kind of rule of thumb or some tips with that?
Quite frankly, I always respect it if that's the arrangement. If I don't like the arrangement, like the guy's laughing. Yeah, he's talking about me. He knows who I'm talking about. Yeah. It depends on the arrangement. I've worked for companies where that's how they want to do things. And if that's how they want to do business with me, that's how we're going to do business. On the flip side, if I were in the same situation, I would expect them to respect them to do business with me that way. Like if they were going to represent me, do that. I have other people who we have a different understanding where it's like, okay, I have a gig for you. I'm not going to charge you. This is just for you. Put it under your name, do your thing. And they would do the same to me. It's just kind of an honor system thing. We're not keeping tabs, but other companies do. And they expect their card to be handed out. And maybe there's a contractual thing where they don't want the other company to feel like, or the client to feel like, oh, they bailed on us. No, they didn't bail on us. They sent the other guy from the company. It's different. So there could be a lot of reasons they want this. I respect the arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't like it, I might renegotiate the arrangement with them next time. But if that's the arrangement, I respect it.
And that's something, and maybe we should actually kind of talk about some of the common arrangements, because there might be people out there who've never done this before. You know, when I've gone out and I've worked for other companies and I've been under their banner, that means that, you know, I'm not wearing my DJ John Young shirts that I would use for setup. I'm not, there aren't any signs, any business cards, any of my stuff whatsoever. All of my announcements, I'm either, you know, just John Young, or I would be from the company. Actually, there was one event that I ran under a different name, that I wasn't John Young fan. I think I was Fred, Freddie something or another is what he's like. Hey, can you run under that one? Because it was up in we were up in North Dakota. Yeah. But the idea was that I was under their banner, and at the end of the night, I had a couple of people and gave out some business cards and such, because that was the arrangement we had, and I wanted to respect that. I wasn't there to talk about me or promote me or anything. In this day and age, with social media being what it is and such, I mean, I could see it even being more difficult, because, you know, our tendency is to go and snap a picture and, let's put that up on our Facebook page. Well, you can't do that kind of stuff when you're working.
I know back when I first started my DJ company, my own DJ company in '94, I intentionally did not brand anything. At the time, everybody was doing signage. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing. And they were doing logo shirts and things. And I knew so many other DJs, and I got my start with other DJs just throwing me things. Oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. We have work for you. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So some of it was just given to me that I ran under my own company. Some of it I was subcontracting. They took whatever, $100, and I got the rest, or whatever the arrangement was. But I made my system so just not generic, but just unbranded. Yep. You know, so I could do that and not worry that someone was going to say, "Oh, that's Brian Red's thing." No, it was just a DJ system, and a nice one. Mm-hmm. But now nobody does signage. They think or a lot of people don't do it. They think it's taggy, whatever. Back then, it was a thing.
Oh, for sure.
But I didn't do it. I never had signage on my own company. Not a gobo, nothing.
For a while in the 80s, the late 80s, it was really cool. The local Pepsi, when Mountain Dew and Pepsi were just so huge around the area, it was the cool thing to have your logo on one of those big bars. You see them by the side, you know, the 12-pack of beer, those types of vinyl signs. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so, when you could get their sign person to do your logo.
And print spray,
yeah, and it's like, oh, that's so cool. So I've got pictures of our first system where we had that on a few shows, and we thought we had the world. It's like, oh, this is so awesome.
Yeah. Well, in the 80s, branding was cool. I mean, it's been cool. It's not been cool. We've gone back and forth with that since then. But in the 80s, it was definitely cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool. If you had a shirt that said something on it. Remember the Izod? I mean, that's an ugly shirt, but that was a big deal. Members only, all that stuff. It said something on it. Mm-hmm. There was a time when you didn't want that. I think we're back to that time now. We don't want anyone to know, unless you're into like hip hop stuff with athletic gear and sporting things. But for the most part, you don't want people to know what you got. It could be Versace, it could be from Walmart. Nobody knows. Yeah. But yeah, that was just so hot. The branding was so hot back then.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're gonna let's do the one last one. This is a pretty good. Somebody was wanting to get into starting to do some gig logs and wanted to get some tips from you on how to do gig logs and some of the equipment you use, and basically just to really kind of get a starting concept of doing gig logs.
Yeah. Well,
that's a big area.
I can give this tip to anyone who wants to do YouTube videos, period. If you can make them short, that's good. If you go on and on about things, you lose people. You can count on an attention span for less than 5 minutes. Yeah. And if you can make it less than 4, it's even better. And if you can make it less than 3, that's even better. And get to the point, highlight it, show highlights. And I've had people critique, say things to me before, like, how come you only show the dance floor when it's packed? Well, I don't want to do a 10-minute video and show you the dead dance floor. I'd rather show you the highlights. Yeah. It's highlights. This is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to do it.
Oh, no. We froze up. Did we lose everything? You're back.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
all of a sudden the internet thing that said our connection was bad. So you were saying
Highlights.
it's highlights. This is where you do this is and go. So take it from there.
And I think it's cool. Like, you just do your highlights, talk about just the important stuff, show the highlights of the night. Don't show the song you played that didn't work unless you want to talk about that at the end of the video. And at the end of the video, do like a 30-second wrap on it. Talk about what happened. Point out things maybe you didn't get on camera. And the other thing that I feel, and John and I even talked about this earlier, even with this live stream, engage your audience. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let me know in the comment section. That's huge, because people, and in some of the stuff you may not want to hear, but like I mentioned before, I got pretty thick skin. You can say about anything to me. I'm going to get more love than hate, but someone's going to hate.
Yep. There's always that one or two.
But invite people to engage. Engage people. Invite them to let them know how they feel, because there's nothing people like to do more than letting you know how they feel.
For sure.
This is 2016. Come on.
And even I've done a couple of gig logs where I've done those for the Disc Jockey News. And it was gear related specifically, but from those I've had people who have seen like a light fixture that I use, and they're busy. They're like, hey, I got this idea. You could use that for this. And did you ever think of that? And it's like, oh my gosh, the things you can learn by putting some questions out there or asking for some feedback is just incredible.
Simply just saying, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section, which I say a lot in my videos. Now, it's almost a habit at this point. And I have too many videos to monitor the questions. I mean, I'm looking at the last couple of videos and that's about it. And I'm sorry, I'm one guy. But in the old days, I used that to know what to do for my next video, because people would say things like, hey, what's that light you use on your gigs? What is that? So I got an excuse to do a video.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, hey, I want to show everybody this cool light I have. No, I don't have to do that. I said, look, some people have been asking me about this light.
Mm-hmm.
They've had questions about it. They really do. So because of that, I'm going to show it to you. It's going out by request. That means a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know why it does, but it does. It makes it more genuine. And you can show people the light or the headphones or the whatever you use. You can talk about it and make a video on it. And that's the type of stuff I was doing for the first, I want to say 10 months. And then ADJ saw those things and they contacted me. And that's how my relationship with ADJ started.
Sure.
It was from doing that. And I wasn't even trying to do that. It just worked that way. So it's good to do it that way. It's genuine. People like it. Engage the people who are watching and invite questions and do those follow-up videos on the questions.
Let's talk, take a minute here to talk about the gear. The equipment that you use. What would you recommend for, using camcorder, camera, mobile device? What would you recommend?
Whatever. I mean, I did over a year. I did my first year on a $100 Samsung digital camera that I bought from Walmart. It took AA batteries. And one night I said, I wonder if this thing does video. And it turned out it did. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea how to edit it or anything else, but I shot a video, start to finish, 0 edits, raw YouTube upload. So it's about the content. I believe this. Yep. There was a guy, I know we're supposed to wrap the show, but I'm going to talk. There was a guy who contacted me today, nicest guy in the world. He was an editor and a producer on KTLA, CNN, all of these news channels, all California. And he says, I'm a mobile DJ too, and I really like what you do. And I've got I looked at his Facebook page. It was very impressive, the companies that he's worked for and the work that he's done.
Sure.
And he said, next time you're at NAMM or you're in Vegas, I would love to be your camera guy. I've got this beautiful professional camera, and I got the sound gear, and I've got all this stuff. I'll shoot everything for you, and it'll look great. And I told him, I said, thank you. But just so you understand, if my stuff starts looking like what you see on TV, it's going to start looking less genuine. The stuff that I do for my audience, I have found it has to look like it's very homemade and it's very genuine. If I try to polish it up, people start looking at it like it's not honest anymore. Mm-hmm. Like I'm trying to convince them that it's better than it is or something. So I keep my stuff as punk as possible. It's a little unrehearsed. My hair's a little screwed up. I'm in a FU t-shirt and You know, it's with my camera that I have. Now I'm using a good camera now because I want a good camera to try to get the best lighting videos I can.
For sure.
Fast shutter speed, lasers, all that stuff. But if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't matter what camera I use. If it was my phone, it wouldn't matter. Just the audio was okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's real important to go real high end on that stuff.
I think, yeah, you made a really good point though. You could use the phone, but the audio is the key. And I guess you guys have seen many videos that we've done, or even some of the Tuesday tips where I've got that little lapel, because they make some lapel mics that plug into those cell phones that are just incredible compared to what they were, 10 years ago. So
it's moving along. But no, I wouldn't put too much thought into it. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this.
For sure. I've got a $70 Rode lapel mic for the cell phone, and I think I've got a $40, I don't remember what company it was, another big one in that. And then I have a $9 one from off Amazon. Sure. I'll tell you, the Rode is the best. The $9 one is close to it in sound quality, and then that $40 one is a huge disappointment. And unfortunately, I have two of those, and they both sound so disappointing.
It's a crapshoot.
So yeah, they're excited about your FU T-shirt.
My FU shirt. That's just, I don't know. That's not really say FU on it, but it's just I don't know.
I haven't seen one of those
for some reason. It's a term I use when it's just like I don't care. I don't care about the shirt I'm wearing. It doesn't really say FU on it.
But they do there are FU T-shirts. We have seen those. Yeah.
FU hair. It's FU hair. I don't care.
You don't care. Let's wrap that up, Brian. We've gone almost an hour with our show tonight. Gang, if you guys have got any questions out there, please, you can get those to us, message those us on the Facebook. You can put those in the comments down below the video, not on the right side where we're kind of chatting right now. Not here. See, I can type that right there. But make sure you guys are putting those down below, or message us on whatever. We'll definitely get those on next week's show. We appreciate you watching. Appreciate the questions. And there was no underwear.
I appreciate you, John.
Yeah, thanks for the time. I enjoy our Tuesdays together.
I do too.
It was a long day, and I'll tell you, it was a long and draining day with all sorts of different things. And it's like, as it gets to be 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, it's like, I had to go hang with Brian. Yeah, and it's like that. The day just got better. So Freedom, make sure the comments down below. So make sure you guys put those down there. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you next Tuesday night. Our new time for the summer is going to be 9 o'clock. So it just gives me a little more time to hang out with the children, because tonight I was able to almost get them tucked in before we did a little story time, and then I could come out. So
we were going to take a break for the summer, but Lori said no.
Yeah, Lori, my wife, said no. She said, you bums have nothing better to do. You go do that, or else
better stay on.
So
somebody will watch.
That's what we're here for. So we really appreciate you guys being with us tonight. So again, next week we'll see you at 9 o'clock Central. Thanks for watching. Good night.